You know, with this latest movie doing the rounds over here in the United Kingdom to good business, some people might say, of course, it's because of the association of Her Majesty the Queen, our late monarch. And this particular image, which really just stole the Platinum Jubilee from every single person who was appearing in that concert that night. You couldn't top this, could you? And that's what I loved about this, actually, with the Queen. You know, there she was, sadly unable to attend the concert, or maybe a better thing, in fact. But literally, she just took all the stars away with herself. A simple cameo filmed at Windsor Castle, and how brilliant was this? But behind the scenes, apparently, not all was what it seemed, even with the superstar Michael Bond creation that was Paddington Bear. Let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time today. And as ever, thank you for supporting all those videos. Glad you agree with me about the ridiculousness of the Jaguar car. Just nuts, isn't it? I mean, where's the car in it, you know? And they wonder why. I mean, it's not for us, I get that, you know? And I hate the way that Jaguar have come out and said, well, these particular individuals are not our core customers. Of course they're not, but we might be if we won the lottery. Yes, they're thick, aren't they? They don't understand that actually fortunes are made on the flick of a dime. And the thing is, maybe you suddenly wouldn't buy Jaguar. You know, people running this stuff are just absolutely incredibly dense. Oh, don't get me going, but thank you for supporting the video anyway. Now, as you know, this particular image, the Queen and Paddington Bear, was the defining image, as I said, of the Platinum Jubilee. But behind the scenes, you know, Paddington wasn't necessarily the #1 choice, because the Queen had a very soft spot for many different children, sort of, you know, favourites, as it were. And you might be surprised by this, because one of them was none other than Basil Brush. Now, I've been lucky enough to meet Basil Brush in person, yes, wonderful character, based on the actor Terry Thomas, right? Basil Brush was also considered as perhaps a British icon that could sit alongside Her Majesty the Queen. The other idea, in fact, was something of, well, maybe some of the characters from Harry Potter. What about that? Because that's a global brand and simply worldwide. But it really wasn't the Queen's era. Apparently the Queen's children, particularly Prince Edward, loved the likes of things like Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men, Andy Pandy, but they were considered a little bit too far in the past. And this was battered back and forth. And eventually the Queen said, well, actually, you know, the children used to like Paddington Bear. And that's truly how Paddington came to light. They said, oh, Paddington, brilliant, yes, absolutely. And so Paddington Bear became the star alongside the Queen of the Platinum Jubilee. But apparently the Queen said, is there any way we could incorporate more? But apparently they felt that this would dilute the message, the idea, that sort of stuff. So sadly, Basil and co were given the heave, and Paddington remained the star that we know today. Fascinating to think how these things actually come to light, and also a rare insight into exactly what, say, royal children liked, and the reasoning behind the idea of why, when Paddington came up on the screen, apparently according to that source, Prince Louis had been very much aware, because the Queen apparently had bestowed a few books of Paddington a few weeks before and said, you might like these. Knowing, of course, that once he'd seen pictures of Paddington, he would recognise the Queen, as we now see on the big screen when they were in Buckingham Palace. Fabulous, isn't it? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.